This video is sponsored by Aura. I've been using the internet quite frequently for well over 17 years now. I'd say since the mid-2000s, I've seen it go through many changes in how people use it. And right now, I'd say we live in the most paranoid and judgmental era of the web. Everyone has each other by the throat, and everyone is always accusing someone of something. But now, we have more tools than ever to use, and that includes when you want to fake something. AI is a huge talking point these days on how it could affect jobs, the general populace, among other things. And with AI, it can become advanced enough to where you can fake pretty much anything, and that'll make us more paranoid than ever. The thing is, the tech is impressive, but that's pretty much the only impressive part. There's no talent or anything behind this, it's just strings of code designated to give you what you want. I mean, yeah, I can create Will Smith eating a plate of spaghetti, but where's the passion? Where's the effort? It's an AI image, Luigi. You didn't make it. Why, back in my day, people took great efforts to fake something. People did everything they could to trick the general internet audience, and looking back, some of these cases were wild. Internet hoaxes have always been a thing. A fake news story spreads like wildfire, and everyone would believe it, because if it's on the internet, it must be true. So before the internet is inevitably taken over by AI, where you can never tell if something is real or fake anymore, I'd like to show you all the stories and the creative ways people faked things back in the day. It could be for art reasons, or it could be the creator is just a dickhead and wanted attention. It doesn't matter. So my friends, welcome to...
What? You mean just lie? You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
But first, check out this curtain. Behind it is your brand new car! Oops, actually that was a hoax. It's actually today's sponsor, Aura. Hoaxes online have taught us a lot of people are shady and willing to lie to you just for fun. Or sometimes, they have malicious intentions. And it can go as far as trying to steal your personal info. A lot of places, including banks, have data breaches, and due to these data breaches, Americans have lost billions to online crimes in just 2022 alone. And they can go months and months without telling you. But you know who will tell you right away? Aura. Aura is here to let you know when your data is out there for the world to see, and seeks to let you know when an attack on your private info is happening, with safeguards in place and alerts to let you know when someone is trying to access your bank account, and other helpful tools such as a credit score checker and even a VPN. Aura can even offer you a $1 million settlement if you are ever a victim to identity theft, to make sure you are compensated for something that wasn't your fault. If you go to my link in the description, you can get a free 14-day trial and try Aura for yourself. That's a 2-week free trial if you use my link today. It may not be a new car, but it's something that's just as needed. Thank you, Aura, for sponsoring this video. I've mentioned this previously on this channel, but I miss the Wild West days of the internet. In the 2000s, there were so many websites out there. You had plenty to choose from for your exploring needs, not like today where everything is concentrated to a small select few sites, sanitized and ran by mega corporations to be as advertiser friendly as possible. Back then, people didn't care about being advertiser friendly. It was a free-for-all. You could find so many strange sites because anyone could create a website if they wanted to. And because anyone could create one, some would get noticed by the public, and even drum up some controversy for even existing. Like this absurd website from 2005 called Save Toby. Save Toby is a website about, well, how do I put this? The creator says he found this wild bunny under his porch and took him in and started to raise him back to health. And now the creator had a brand new pet rabbit and named him Toby. But unfortunately, raising a rabbit is expensive, and raising Toby has strained the creator's bank account, and so he decided it would be best to try and raise some money. He created this website to help raise funds to support Toby in a very interesting way. Now, people these days have created GoFundMes to help support themselves or their friends and families and pets, but this website was way before that, and it also had a hook. The creator wanted $50,000 in order to help support Toby. However, if he did not receive the money by June 30th, 2005, he was going to eat him. Give me $50,000 or I am going to devour this rabbit. So this is not like a GoFundMe to help support Toby. This was basically a ransom.
Please give us £1, or we'll have to pull the trigger.
The entire website was dolling this cute little rabbit up so you could feel sympathy for it and want to save him from his cruel fate. Oh, here's Toby at the park, looking cute. Here's Toby just chillin'. And here's Toby on a plate enjoying a meal. But soon, he's gonna be the meal on the plate if you don't donate now. The website also had different recipes involving rabbits to help sell it even further, including the famous Toby Confit, a great meal for any dinner party. You could hit a PayPal button to donate money to help save Toby, or you could hit up the merch shop and buy a number of different Toby swag, showing you help support a ransom for a rabbit to not get eaten. With our powers combined, we can all pull together, so Toby can live to see another day. Now, with this website's existence, you would be right to assume it was extremely controversial. The entire concept of rescuing a rabbit and then threatening to eat it unless you're given the funds to care for it is extremely manipulative, and people would let the website know. There were news reports about the website out and about, detailing the concept and how awful it was. People would flood the website with emails, and some of them were not very happy. They had sections on the site where they would read out hate mail they got on a daily basis.
Actually, I think you're a fucking moron. If people actually fall for this stupid scam, you're more moronic than you are. Get a life, you should have been blowjob. Stop wasting internet space on that shit. Actually, stop wasting people's air. You'd be better off sucking on a shotgun.
It is critical when calling someone a moron that you refrain from making yourself out to look like a high school dropout who sniffs magic markers in his basement while in the middle of your third lap of Mario Kart 64. I am proud to present DJ David Kern. May he forever live on as the world's most retarded hate mailer. You can tell that the owners of the site were not taking any of these seriously at all. In fact, going by these responses, it was probably more than enough evidence that the entire thing was nothing more than a joke, as the way he's responding is clearly fishing to get a rise out of people. There's this one update where they pretend to have an actual conversation with a rabbit, which is clearly another way to really get under the skin of the detractors. People would contest to have the website shut down, but when you really look at the whole thing, there wasn't really anything they could do. Nothing was really forcing you to donate to save Toby. You could have left him to his fate. In fact, according to this research paper I found specifically on this incident from 2006, the circumstances here do not technically fall under the legal definition of extortion, as the creator is threatening to destroy his own property and not someone else's. So legally speaking, he's doing nothing wrong. This isn't really a case of legality, but more so morality, and nobody wanted to see this cute little rabbit die. As the deadline for Toby's execution was coming up, the merciful website owner decided to postpone it to Thanksgiving 2006, where now, if they didn't reach the goal by then, the entire family would have a nice yummy Toby for Thanksgiving. But now there was an added stipulation. If 100,000 copies of a certain item were sold, then Toby would also be saved. And that item was a book based around saving Toby. That's right, another fucking book!
Buy my book!
Why does everyone I talk about keep making books? Only one was worth the investment. The funniest part about the book is reading all the Amazon reviews from back in the day, with people either thinking it's hilarious, and the others are absolutely disgusted by its existence. When November 2006 finally rolled around, it was revealed that the website had been purchased by another one, and with that purchase, they finally rolled over the 50 grand they wanted, and Toby was finally saved. But they were never gonna eat the fucking rabbit, let's be real here. This was all a marketing stunt. They already had plenty of merchandise and got a book deal extremely fast to be put out there, all in an attempt to make some money and make Toby a household name by people trying to save him. Apparently, with all the merchandise and donations before the website was purchased, they had raised almost 20 grand, which is a hefty chunk of change. They made out like bandits. So this entire website is the prime example of bad publicity is still publicity. It drove itself purely on controversy, and it got famous because of that. But it was very much an of its time story because you never see anyone talk about it these days, except me. The original owners of the site have never been identified, so we'll never know who was behind this whole scheme. This site also spawned a bunch of imitators, where they would attempt the exact same thing, but not even close to the same level of success. The website itself is no longer up to date, because we can't have fun internet websites anymore. This would never get made today. You're probably wondering what other website purchased it. Why, that would be board.com, which is also dead. Just like Toby.
From the
You ever just come across something when you were young, and while you just sort of brush it off right then and there, but then it comes back into your mind years later and it just bothers the piss out of you? You go out of your way to try and find this thing you brushed off during your childhood and see what it was all about. I think everyone had that happen at least once. Hell, I had my own at one point. When I was a kid, every weekend we would take a trip to our local movie gallery to have some entertainment over the weekend. Maybe rent some movies or some games to play, you know. Well, at our movie gallery, hanging on the edge of one of the shelves, there was this DVD that mystified me. It was this green booger-looking creature with two kids shocked by it. And for years, every time we went there, this same DVD just sat there, untouched. Nobody would ever rent it. And I went by it and saw it all the time because it was hanging right there by the PS2 and GameCube games. I swore for years it was called Boogerman or something like that. Well, very recently, I went out of my way to try and find this DVD that I never rented since that movie gallery is now long gone, and I really wanted to know what it was about. Boogerman usually gave results for the video game. That's not what I was looking for. I'd get results for the awful 2005 Boogeyman movie. No, seriously, has anyone seen that film recently? It's aged terribly. Well, after a while, I finally found the movie I was searching for. It wasn't Boogerman. It was Fungus, the Bogeyman. I found it. The same case and everything. Here it was. Here's the thing that I searched high and low for. The thing that sat there and stared at me most of my childhood. And it looks like shit. Thank God I never rented it.
Well, what are you?
Oh, well, sorry for the tangent, but I was able to get closure on this, as anticlimactic as it may seem. But some people aren't so lucky to be able to find things from their childhood that are now lost in the sands of time. Some have gone around online asking if anyone knows what they're talking about, and sometimes you get answers, and other times it will lead you down a rabbit hole. There have been many stories of hundreds of people searching for one particular piece of media just because someone vaguely remembered it. But this case I'm talking about now is probably the strangest of them all. It all started at a place where strange people go to get validation. Reddit. In a subreddit called Tip of My Joystick, yeah, great name there, a guy named Sparta213 would come in, asking if anyone knew the name of a game he grew up with, where you were a farmer, you murdered your wife, and then you have to tend to your crops while also keeping the town and the police in the dark about the crime you committed. Because it really is such a dark, admittedly cool concept for a game, people were actually very interested in learning what this game was. If they could find it, that is. People in the Reddit thread gave suggestions for what type of game it could be, but none of them really matched the description the guy was looking for. It was specifically some type of pixel art game, and it looked like Harvest Moon. More and more people joined in, and eventually, the story of this game had spread across a subsection of Reddit. It garnered the title Evil Farming Game, and it would spark a massive investigation for the next couple of years. Word about this mysterious farming game would get to YouTubers.
Now, I've never played this game, but it sounds cool as fuck, and it sounds like something I would really want to play.
We can only wait and hope that someone out there comes forth with any sort of lead, a hard drive, a website, a key hidden inside a detail, so we can finally discover what this game actually was. If you're watching this and this sounds familiar to you, please get in contact.
And after these videos were made, search interest for this game would skyrocket. This one Reddit post would send a good chunk of the internet on a wild goose chase looking for it. A whole subreddit was made for it to discuss any possible leads and trails they could follow, or if they had finally found it. A number of games were brought to the original poster's attention. This game called Morai, or Moray, I don't know. A game where you find a dying woman under a farm. But that wasn't it. A slew of RPG Maker games were presented. Those weren't it either. None of the games that were presented was the game he was looking for. Of course, there were a couple of skeptics who believed this entire thing could have been an elaborate marketing stunt. That the original poster was making a game just as described and planning on unveiling it to the public, which would have been pretty lame if it were true. But every single time a game was presented or theorized, it wasn't the game he was looking for. Every single lead came up a dead end. It even got a Lost Media Wiki article, assuming it was real and all the history surrounding it trying to find it up to that point. And if you're able to pry Lost Media enthusiasts away from looking for lost episodes of toddler shows, you know you've made some impact. But it doesn't matter how many people were on the scene. No matter how many games or theorized or brought forward, not a single one seemed to be the original game the Redditor was looking for. So what's the truth, you might ask? Well, since this is a video about hoaxes, you probably already know at this point, the game never existed in the first place. But was this all just some fake game the guy made up for laughs, to cause his massive manhunt for nothing? Well, the actual answer here is far more entertaining than you could imagine. There's this niche Twitch streamer called Varskeletor, or as he's often called, Joel. Joel is just some guy from Sweden that plays a variety of stuff. One of Joel's fans was watching some of Joel's older streams and came across a stream of him playing Global Defense Force. And then at one point, Joel makes his joke on stream.
I will say this, another game about like bugs and killing bugs or whatever is a game. I don't know if you guys ever heard about a game called Body Harvest, but that game is fucking the shit. But let me tell you something, that fucking game has the worst title on the planet. It sounds like crap. It honestly, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like Harvest Moon, but with like corpses. It sounds like, that'd be a fun game, just playing as Harvest Moon, but throughout all of the gameplay, you gotta hide a dead corpse. Harvest Moon, it's just regular Harvest Moon with your wife, and midway in the game, you have an argument with your wife, and you accidentally kill her with like a saw blade. At the same time as you gotta like manage your farm, you know, raise your chickens and milk the cows, you also gotta like hide the body from the cops sometimes, from health security checks, and yeah.
Now, that sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? In fact, it's one for one the exact same description as the original Reddit post. The original poster was contacted, and it turns out, oh, he was a fan of Joel as well. And when this was sent his way, it all started coming back to him. Sparta was on medication that helped him sleep, and he would specifically choose Vinesauce and Joel streams to fall asleep to. And in a half-asleep stupor, he heard Joel mention this game concept on stream before going off to Dreamland. After looking at the entire picture, he comes to the realization.
Shit, I hallucinated all that, didn't I?
The game the entire time was nothing more than a hallucination. The end product of sleeping medication and a mediocre joke by a Swedish man. Thousands of people were on the hunt for a game that was the creation of a Redditor's drug-induced dream. The bad news was, the game didn't exist. There was no evil farming game called Body Harvest Moon. All those hours of research Lost Media enthusiasts did was for nothing. The good news was, Sparta, and by proxy, everyone involved in the search, finally had closure on this evil farming game. This is such a unique case for a hoax, because it wasn't created out of malice or just to mess with people. Everyone thought it was real. Even the guy who started it thought it was real. But in the end, it just wasn't. So the truth about this game is absolutely wild. And when it got back to Joel, he didn't even know how to take it. He was the one who started all this and he had no idea.
And people were messaging me last night, Joel, you have sent people for like 6 years on a wild goose chase about a game that doesn't exist. And I'm like, excuse me, I did. So I woke up and people were like, Joel, you bastard. I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? What happened? You know? So, yeah. Well, all I can say is, hey, if you're watching this and you're probably wondering, does Joel know about this? I had no idea about this, but people brought it to my attention, and I just want to apologize. Okay, I just want to say, oops, sorry.
I honestly can't say if there's a lesson to be learned from all this, because this is such a unique and specific case. I don't think it can be replicated again. Only thing I can really say is, don't watch Joel or Vinesauce in general while being heavily medicated. I got nothing. Here's Granddad.
Granddad! Flintstones? Oh.
I usually don't have empathy for corporations, but the one exception to that is Chuck E. Cheese. Man, talk about a business that just can't catch a break. Everyone's favorite childhood place, and they've been hanging on by a thread for the past couple of years. They've been rebranding constantly, they've gone in and out of bankruptcy. Whatever the hell this is.
Poggers!
And let's be real here, Five Nights at Freddy's inadvertently tarnished their reputation. Thanks to Five Nights at Freddy's, people were either really scared of animatronics, or they really wanted to do unspeakable things to animatronics. It's just been a nightmare scenario for them, having to get rid of one of the main things they were known for. All they really got now is the arcade games and the pizza. But even the pizza wasn't safe because a couple of years ago, they fell victim to a viral conspiracy that almost ruined them, and some still believe it to this day. Around the late 2010s, some people started taking notice of Chuck E. Cheese pizza's quality and how strange it looked. All the slices of the pizza are cut in weird ways, and some of them seem to be completely different in length and size. Now, how in the world could our pizzas turn out like this? Why are these pizzas not of higher quality? And then suddenly, a theory started erupting. Maybe the reason why the pizzas at Chuck E. Cheese suck so much and look like they're of different shapes and sizes is because, to save on money, instead of chucking uneaten pizza slices in the garbage from previous customers, they would reuse them on new orders. I couldn't really pinpoint where exactly this rumor started, but it was probably some random Tumblr or Reddit post, and it sort of spread from there. But where it came from doesn't actually matter, as this theory would explode in popularity thanks to one famous YouTuber, Shane Dawson. Wait, no, Kitty, where are you going? On February 11th, 2019, Shane released a video in order to finally get to the bottom of this mystery. It's also mixed in there with some other conspiracies, but the Chuck E. Cheese one is the one that had the most impact. It's also some severe tonal whiplash because throughout the video, one of the theories has to deal with an abusive relationship and possible human trafficking, potential ties to the Serbian mafia, and then it cuts back to fucking Chuck E. Cheese pizza, as if they're on the same level.
That's undeniable. That's crazy.
They all come up with a plan to prove this theory once and for all.
And then one with a specific instruction, like, oh, just onions, or oh, just a certain vegetable, because they'd have to make that one fresh.
What if they pick up every other?
They finally make their way to Chuck E. Cheese's with their master plan, and well, this is when the cringe begins. They order their pizza, and while they wait, they start commenting on the place.
Gamble. You want to gamble?
Yeah.
And then look at all like the sexy duck women on the lawn, like, come on.
What is with Shane Dawson and animals? Their pizzas finally show up, and they end up looking like this. Shane questions an employee who's acting weird about being filmed. Shocker, I know. I would feel weird around Shane Dawson too.
How have we not gotten arrested?
I have no idea.
We've been in a Chuck E. Cheese for 3 hours with a camera, 3 guys, looking so creepy.
They take the pizzas back home and measure them.
So I think we've proven that these two halves were never together.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know. And I hope it's just an optical illusion. I'm trying to prove anything to make it so that Chuck E. Cheese isn't actually doing this. I did not think this was gonna happen.
So they order like 3 pizzas, they look like crap. That is undeniable proof every Chuck E. Cheese in the country reuses their pizza slices. Case closed, boys, the conspiracy is true. Now when I said this video had an impact, I mean it had an impact. The video has over 50 million views. Enough people saw this video to where it caused an absolute shitstorm online. Because of its reach, people actually believed the theory was real. Because of this video, now people were going to their local Chuck E. Cheese's, ordering pizzas and measuring it themselves. And all of this while harassing the staff over it.
Let's just kick us out. Oh, so we get kicked out?
You getting kicked out of Chuck E. Cheese?
Glad I can call Paramus Police and take you guys out.
You gonna kick us out?
Now we're getting kicked out.
We got kicked out of Chuck E. Cheese right now. I've never been kicked.
YouTube and various social media websites have people making the same types of videos over and over, confirming the theory that the pizzas were used if their pizza looked like crap, despite the fact that Chuck E. Cheese's pizzas always look like crap. Now, of course, all of this would get back to Chuck E. Cheese themselves, and they denied basically everything. It was nothing more than a conspiracy theory, a hoax. Some actual staff members of Chuck E. Cheese will come out and debunk the theory, but if you try to deny the theory in any way, your comment section was just flooded with Shane Dawson fans, accusing you of lying or being paid off by the Chuck. This theory just got way out of hand. It was living hell being a Chuck E. Cheese staff member during this time because it was the same thing every single day. Someone was going to ask it at least once.
I think they see me recording, so they're like, make sure to give that guy a fresh pizza, but it's all good. We got a fresh pizza.
One guy even went out of his way to get a job at Chuck E. Cheese's in order to get the inside scoop of if the pizzas were reused or not. And well, things didn't go too well.
Listen, at this Chuck E. Cheese, we reprocess our pizzas to make profit, to make money, okay? That's what we do here. And you coming here and interfering with that. I don't need that. So I need you to get your stuff and go.
Why?
Because you don't follow the rules. And we have rules here for a reason.
I just don't think it's right for you to do that at all.
I don't care what you think, alright? I need you to get your stuff and go.
And if you couldn't tell by the stellar acting, this video is fake as hell. Just like the entire theory. Yeah, some might disagree with me, but I don't believe this theory is real. Yeah, the pizzas look like crap and I'd be pissed if my pizza was cut like this, but I don't think they're reusing pizza slices. There's probably a ton of actual explanations why the pizzas are misaligned. I'd chalk it up to most of the staff being teenagers who aren't too experienced and aren't too concerned about them looking good. You really aren't there just for the food, are you? If you get pizza from any other pizza joint, the pizza is all they really have going for them. If the food sucks, then they aren't worth anything. Chuck E. Cheese has everything else going for it. The food was always just a bonus. Yeah, I believe this theory is a hoax. I have no concrete evidence to disprove it, I just don't believe it. If you do, more power to you. But even after all these years of Shane Dawson's video, and everyone having moved on, I still see some people discussing it years after the fact. So it looks like Shane's video has basically immortalized this theory into the subconscious. It will probably never truly go away. Shane didn't create it, but he did popularize it. Just another thing on the long, long list of Shane Dawson's sins. But man, poor Chuck E. Cheese. Can't have any more animatronics? Most of their games are just token casinos, and now their pizza's reputation has taken a hit. I wonder how much longer they're going to keep going. The final conclusion is, this is not Poggers.
Poggers!
Is this the Krusty Krab? No! This is Patrick!
Well, of course, we have to end the video off with something either incredibly absurd or incredibly disturbing, and this time, I've chosen both. There are thousands of videos uploaded to YouTube every day, and a lot of them are unseen by the public. A lot of them are personal videos usually made to be shared around with friends and family, not meant to be seen outside the group. But you can still find them if you dig hard enough. And one of these videos would be uploaded on October 11th, 2009 by an account named Hi Walter, It's Me Patrick. A man named Patrick made a personal video directed toward his friend named Walter, describing how he met his new girlfriend.
Hi Walter, I was at the mall today and guess what happened? I met the most wonderful girl. We went shopping at JCPenney's and she tried on a lot of clothes. And she ended up buying a whole lot of them, you know what I mean? And then we decided to go and take a look at some of the jewelry at K Jewelers, and she picked out this
The video itself is very off-putting, and the guy comes off as deranged. Look at his eyes. Eventually he decides to finally show his girlfriend to Walter.
I know she hates cameras, Walter, but I'm gonna show you her anyways. You ready?
And then the video ends. This video was completely unknown to the public in 2009, as it appears to be specifically made for a friend. Nobody else is meant to see it. If you stumbled upon this randomly in 2009, you would probably be horrified, and the few who did absolutely were. The few who came across this video would of course spread the word about it and how disturbing it was, and it would slowly make its way across small circles on the web, and would eventually start getting covered by some horror tubers in the mid-2010s, describing its disturbing nature. Now even back then, there was always doubt over this video's authenticity. A lot of people point out little details here and there, like how this woman's position and delivery seemed very scripted. How would she have known he was filming and only made noise after the door was opened? But other than that, the majority of people did find this video very disturbing, scripted or not. Other than the video, there wasn't much else to go off of. This channel had nothing else attached to it. It simply uploaded this one video, and then it was never heard from again. It seemed very suspect. But while many simply just found it creepy and moved on, the mega geniuses over on Reddit in the mid-2010s started noticing parallels to an actual missing persons case. In August of 2009, in Wisconsin, a 15-year-old girl named Kayla Berg was reportedly dropped off by her boyfriend in front of her house in the late hours of the night and was promptly never seen again. Nobody knows what happened to her, and the prime suspects in the case have never been proven to have done anything. This video was growing in popularity due to all the YouTubers who talked about it, and now some people were starting to believe that this video could have some connection to Kayla's disappearance. The video itself was uploaded 2 months after Kayla Burke's disappearance, and many have noticed the woman in the video looks very similar to Kayla. Also discovering the town she lived in had a mall with the JCPenney's and K Jewelers. With all these hard-hitting clues, the Redditors started compiling all the evidence together, and dear lord, the smugness on this Imgur thread is obnoxious. It constantly calls all the people reading it, my fellow Imgurians. Ugh, get over yourself. After all this evidence was compiled together, believing they had just cracked a 7-year-old cold case, and contacted the Antigua police to look into the video, and so they did. The police did do an investigation into the video thanks to the tip. It started appearing in news reports.
It's disturbing video that is sparking a national manhunt today. A creepy guy is talking straight to camera about a girl he just met at the mall.
It made enough rounds that it actually made its way back to Kayla's mother, and Kayla's mom thought it looked just like her.
Sounded like her, looked like her. It gave me chills.
And it looked like all they needed to do now was track down the guy who made the video and bring him to justice. We did it again, Reddit. We solved another unsolved mystery. Crack open a cold one. With the help of YouTube, they were able to track down the address of the guy who made the video, and all of that time passed, all that hard and heavy research done to track this guy down, all that for it to be revealed, well, you should know by now. The video was a complete fake. Patrick was an actor. The woman in the video was found to be completely fine. She too was an actor. They were both actors. And Walter? Well, Walter didn't even exist. None of the events in the video actually happened. Not only that, but a second channel by the two of them was found, doing skits and other videos together. All the resemblance and connections to Kayla Berg were just a coincidence. When questioned, they didn't even know who Kayla Berg was. All of this pandemonium was for nothing. I can only imagine how this man felt that some dumb YouTube video you made years ago was now appearing on national news and making you look like an actual psycho that actually kidnapped somebody. The whole media blitz around this video, even after it was revealed to be fake, is them mostly demonizing the creator for even making it in the first place.
It completely sickens me that someone would even think of doing something like this. Just for fun.
He wasn't the one who tried to connect it to an actual missing persons case. It was just a dumb, dark video he did with his friends, and nothing more. Not only do I feel bad for the actors, but I especially feel bad for Kayla's mom. Imagine being given a glimmer of hope you might have found your daughter, only for it to have all been a fake.
Clothes were matching, description, facial features. Oh, my heart's dropping at that point. Could this have really been her?
Ever since this all happened, the original video has since been taken down, and so has the actor's other channel. Guess they just want to keep things in the past where they belong. Sorry, Patrick. I need content. This was the case of a hoax blowing out of proportion by complete accident, getting way bigger than the creator intended, and wasted a ton of people's time because of it. And worst of all, Kayla Berg, to this very day, is still missing, as after all this transpired, her case went right back to being cold. She's been missing for 15, going on 16 years now, and it looks like we might never get closure. The only thing you can really do is pray for her well-being, wherever she may be, and hope her family will somehow get a definitive answer for what happened to her. Let's all hope.
Maybe somebody out there will finally speak up and give me the answers that we need.
Well, here we are at the end. And what have we learned? Well, it doesn't matter that we live in the age of the internet. Where you can find whatever you want at your fingertips, people will still fall for anything. And like I said at the start, with AI just becoming more and more advanced, it's only gonna get worse. None of these even used AI and people still fell for them. This is just gonna blur the line between reality and fiction, where we can't trust anything anymore. I hate to sound corny, but there was just more effort and passion in some of these. Like creating entire websites or creating ARGs to fake something. There was at least some effort and creativity put into them, instead of just feeding some sentences to an algorithm. You know we're reaching a bad state when we're now looking back on fake incidents fondly. This is the future we chose. God bless, like and subscribe, and good night. And remember, my friends, you have a brain for a reason. Use it, and don't believe everything you see. Please.